computer. Excellent. And I think Cassandra has just joined. Mike, can you hear us, by the way? Mike. Mike. Mike.
Yes, I can hear you guys. Good evening from here.
Okay.
Hello.
Excellent. Okay, and we have Sandra joining us as well. So that is perfect and just on time. So as always, because during the weekly, not the weekly, the office hours, some of you had a question about how the weekly sync is, like, is there any structure to it? And just to kind of review, we will kick off with a demo. So the demo of the work that you did. So one of you from the pair will hopefully share your screen, and you will just walk us through what you did, maybe issues you've encountered, stuff that you learned, stuff that was surprising, things like that. So that will be the first part. Then Aristos is going to take us to our first retrospective. So this is kind of just look ahead, or look back into the stuff that we did, what we like, what we don't like, what we want to change, things like that. And then we will finish with the assigning the new pairs and the new issues for the next week. Sounds good so far? Good. Okay, so who wants to start with the issue number 3? So let me just check what that issue was, because we had a couple of pull requests. So who would like to present, actually? Do we have any volunteers for the...
Were we 3?
Yes, there was 3. As a user, I want to set up a new shopping list so I can start tracking purchased items. So that was issue 3.
Yes, so Sandra and I have agreed that I will do a little intro to and show the functionality, and then Sandra's going to talk through the code.
Perfect.
So, let me find it. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Excellent. So we worked on the functionality to, oh, actually, hang on. Sorry.
You also have they deployed the instance from master if you want. I don't know if you have seen it. But when we merge to master, we have a job that we deploy.
Oh,
We
yes.
deploy the project in case it's that one. In case you hadn't seen it before.
I think I have. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Somebody tell me what I share when I want to flip from like one screen to another. Oh, hang on, let me try this.
I don't think I'm seeing the screen. Yeah, now.
Yay, right, okay, cool. Thank you, sorry. Got it, right. So this was our issue. So first of all, we had to install the dependency, which was from npm.
Yeah.
Yes. By obviously doing npm I and then installing the Collab Lab /shopping mosquitoes. And then Sandra will show you the code in a moment, but we adjusted the code in app.jsx so that it didn't default automatically to my test list, and people could set up their own 3-word token. And then if a user doesn't have a token, we added a button in the home component, and then when the user clicked on that button using the generate token function, which was supplied in the utils package, it created a new token, and that then automatically saved it to local storage. And then once that was all complete, the user was then redirected to the list view. And if they did already have a token, then they were automatically redirected to the list view. So let me quickly demonstrate how that works. So as you can see, we've got the button here and we click on that. So we are now on the list page, and if I inspect that, I need to move my zoom controls, there we go, and minimize us. And then
I think you probably want to go to application.
yes, I do, but I kept my my Zoom window kept getting in the way. And we can see that there is a token in local storage. So then if we clear that token, we can access home again because there's now no token. So yeah, that's the functionality. I will stop sharing and Sandra can explain the code that gets that to work.
Hi everyone. Just give me a second. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, share screen. Can you see my code?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we have done here is we created a constant declaration of a function called handle create list. This if statement checks if the list token has a true value. If it does, the function returns without doing anything else. If the value of list token is a false value, the function then continues to the next line and well here, so set list token and generate token. So this function calls another function called generate token and sets the results as the value of the state variable called list token. This is done using this function set list token. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Also, in the home component, let me look for this. So here, what we have modified is that, this component accepts this prop called handle create list. And we use the link component from the React router DOM package. So we could create a clickable link to a path specified in the to attribute. In this case, the link it will redirect us to the list component. So we have created the button inside this link, this link component, and with the on-click event listener that triggers the handle create list function, and then when the button is clicked, when the create list button is clicked. Yeah, I think well, that's it. In the app component also, what we did, we modified.
I think you added as well the navigate component, in case there was no.
Yes, yeah, we did that. So here we added the navigate component, and just that's what I was about to explain about that. Just give me one second. I think it's here.
Yep. On line 71,
So
right?
here in the line, I think is 71. Yeah. So this element of this route component is determined by a ternary operator. So if the variable list token is true, it will navigate to a route with a path of list using the navigate component from the React router. Otherwise, it will render a home component and pass it a function called the handle create list here. And the same for the other ones. We'll use also the ternary operator to do the same. So the next one will be, so the second route component has this path of list. The element of this route component is also determined by the ternary operator, and if the list token variable is true, it will render a list component and pass it to the prop call data. Otherwise, it will navigate back to the home component using the navigate component. Because that's the code I have created.
Yeah. Looks good. Does anyone have any questions? Was there anything like difficult, surprising? Was there any pain points? Or was it like a smooth sailing for this issue? Karen and Sandra, was it?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. I thought you were asking the
Oh,
other
yeah,
team if they have questions.
sorry, yeah, that was confusing. Both. I was doing both things at the same time, which is never a good idea.
Sorry.
So for you, since I have you both, Sandra and Karen, was this easy to figure out issue? Was it straightforward, or did you have to like dive into documentation, figure out like which components are available, stuff like that?
Well, in my case, it was not really, it was not easy. It was not straightforward. I have to read through the documentations and see previous projects I work with React, because I haven't practiced much with this, but yeah, in the end I could find some information. And also in the last part, in this last part that we did the ternary operator, I received some help from Mike. He was really helpful. He explained me how to fix the bug that we have at the end.
Nice. Well done, Mike. Well done, both of you. Yeah, I think good job. Looks great. I think the app is really shaping up, you know, for week 2. I think we're on the way. Now, if we switch on to the other pair, Cassandra and Mike, who wants to share screen, walk us through the demo and then the code? Cassandra, are you talking? Is anyone? I feel like you're muted. Mike, okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I think Cassandra said she's going to take the demo, the project, the live project demo. Then I'll take the code, I think.
Okay.
Right, Cassandra, is that what you were referring to? Or do you want to take the code?
We can't hear you, Cassandra.
I'm muted.
No,
The
she's not,
mic is muted.
I think she's not muted, but we just can't hear her.
Oh, okay.
No, this is gonna be a tricky demo, but I think we can do it.
All right, let me, if she can't speak, let me just take the.
Hear me now, sorry.
Oh yeah. Now we can hear you. Perfect. Okay, go
Let me
on.
just switch me. My battery is really low.
So we'll have to make this quick, Cassandra, but you can do it.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so perfect. Let me go to the issue 4. Okay, so we were asked to do 2 major things. We should add in the add item view. We should create a form basically. The form will take in the name of the item and then an estimate of when they think they will need to buy the item again. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I think normally, like when people are quiet, it just means that they're listening. But I know it's a bit weird when you're talking and everyone is just like crickets. But yeah, we can definitely hear you now.
Okay, so the issue is basically just as a user, I want to be able to add a new item to my shopping list so I can start recording purchases. So this is what we worked on. We're able to carry out this acceptance criteria add in the add item view, we display the form that allows users to enter the name of the item and then select how soon they want to buy another, make another purchase. Then this let me go to the UI. Let me go to the UI. Okay, so so this is how it will look like. How it looks like. There's an item page. So as a user, I'm able to type any item in this form and then select how often I'll come back to buy it again, whether it's soon, kind of soon, not soon at all. And then I can now add it to, and then this pop-up message will come out saying that I've been added successfully. And using set time, I'll be able to set it so that within certain seconds, it goes away too. Then for you to confirm, that pop-up message confirms that it's added successfully to the database. Now, for you to also confirm, you can go to the list and find this and I type. Now, let me type another item. Let's type another item. What do I type now? Okay, buy a phone. And then select the time that I will make the next purchase and add. Then going to the list, I should see those items I have been adding. So these are the items here. So this is what we implemented. You can also get these items when we go to our Firebase list. You can also get them here if you want to really confirm that they are saved. So that's it. Michael, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me refresh page and quickly show the items I added. Okay, Asha can be able to find itself. It should be within these items here. Okay, these are the ones we've been adding all the while we have been working on it. So we should find those items here too, aside seeing it in the list part. So that's what we worked on. So Michael will now show us how it works behind the scenes in the code. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cassandra. Nice. Mike, so you're gonna walk us through the code now?
Yep, can do.
Yeah.
Can you please confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, I see like 9,000 tabs, Mike. How can you live in this? There's so many tabs.
Hey, you're not supposed to see that.
No, I just see that you have like 9,000 tabs open. It's anxious.
Yeah, I work on. I have so many of them open for like months now. I just leave them there. Like I go back to all of them.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. Right, let me see if I can hide this. Can I hide you? All right. Okay. Let me see the code. There we go. Okay. All right. So as Cassandra has explained, so this is how the code works at the back end. We have so once a new list token is generated here, we pass it down through the add item component here into the add item component here, and we receive it here. And so we also had to, what's this up here? All right, we also had to import a function from the Firebase that would enable us add a new list to the token. So this is the function we imported from Firebase, and then we replaced what was here previously. What we had here was console.log. So we replaced it in here, and then we exported this add item function, and into the add item component here also. So in the after, okay, so we created the form here that within the form we had like two major inputs in the form. One was for the item name and the other is for the radio button here. And then we grouped everything for the radio button. We grouped all of it within a field set to show relationship. And we had to handle, in order to handle the unchange, the unchange events within the forms. We created a function here that handles it. So we're managing the state for the two forms, for the two form field with one use state. An object, we created an object inside one use state for the name and then for the base until purchase, next purchase. So inside the handle change here, so we destructured the name and the value. I forgot to mention that we made sure that in order to do this, we had to make sure that each of the form input field has a name property and a value property. So within the handle change function, we destructured the name and the value from the target component, and we destructured the previous state, the previous value inside the set item data, and then we targeted the name and we gave it the value. And so we're able to manage the on-change states for the two fields, which is the name and the radio buttons. And then to handle the on-submit states, because this function is this add item function that we imported from the Firebase component is for the Firebase can I call it component? Firebase function is an async function. We had to make this an async function also so that we can await the response here. So we're using a try catch so that we can get the errors that could be returned from the Firebase, which we are not logging. But then we set up a custom error handler here. Okay, so inside the handle submit, we are preventing the default settings for the form so that it doesn't refresh at every time we submit a value. And then within the try catch, we are handling, we are waiting this function, passing in the list token that we have sent in here from the token that the user has generated when they click on the create list. So we are passing the list token here and as defined inside the Firebase where this function was created. So we're supposed to pass in a list ID and then an object here. So we're passing in the list token here and then this object here, which represents our this value that we've created here. So we are passing them into this function. Okay, I'll skip this for later. Then we're passing them in here. So once we submit, and then we are clearing the form once we submit here, so that the form field is empty once a new item is created, and then we can go ahead to add more items in. And so we are handling the onSubmit function here. And if the user clicks on add item or the enter key on the keyboard, a form a new item, a new list should be created, a new item should be added to the list. So for the other states we are using here, we created these 3 states in order to handle the success and error messages. So for this set, is added, initially was false there, and then if this item is added, if this item is successfully added, this function is successfully function successfully runs, then the set is ID becomes true, and this set success receives this new value, this new message inside it. And if the item does not run, if this is not successful, this function is not successful, then we reset this to false, and we set a message into this set error messages, and we are displaying the error messages down here. And this is majorly why we created a third state, something like a flag, that once it is true, then we are going to display a success message, but then if it is false, we display an error message. Yeah, I think okay, then we are hiding the alerts, so that once you add an item, and if it's successful and a data added successfully message displays, after 3 seconds, using the set timeout, we clear the message. And if it's an error message that displays, then we clear it also, and we're calling the function inside the handle submit as the last function call here. That is basically how it works.
And just a quick question, what was why do we use a label in our forms? Like, do you know, like when we talk about accessibility and that, like what's the role of a label in forms?
So the label is basically to give the form a title, in case we can also, so one of the functions for a label is to give a form a title. In terms of we can alternatively we can use a placeholder, but then another use case for the label is so that if we go to the project and we click on the name, and we click on this item name, then it automatically focuses the our typing or the keyboard inside within the input field.
Nice. Yeah, so it increases the click area, which is important when we have not everyone is that good with a mouse, so it's good that we have like a bigger area to click on. And as Mike said, also it gives it a title, meaning it gives it a semantic meaning. So like for screen readers, the screen reader will read out loud that this is like the name of the input. So yeah, that's 2 main functions of a label. So when we do inputs, it's always important to associate them with a label, like we did here with the HTML4 item name and then the ID in the input.
Yes, so we connect the inputs using the ID, and then the HTML4. They have to be the same names, the same identity. Yes.
Awesome. I think really good job. Maybe you could delete that comment also on line 56 when it says to do replace this call to console log, which I think you did inside app.js on line 56. You see you have a comment of a to do. Sorry, it was a Firebase thing then. Line 56.
Okay, this one?
Yeah, because this is done now, right?
Okay.
Yeah, excellent. Good. Thank you. Mike and Cassandra, I think really good job. One note that I would make is that since we do have a time constraint, maybe let's try to prepare a little bit more for our presentation so that we can get through the demos in maybe 5-10 minutes, because then we have either a retro or a learning session. But that's just like a quick note that to be like a bit more precise maybe, so that we have time for the rest of the stuff. Cool, great. So now, without further ado, Aristos, maybe let's kick off our first ever retrospective.
Yep, thank you. So I will start by sharing my screen. Retrospective is something that usually happens in teams. Well, it's not about the size of the team, but more for a team that works, uh, in sprints, and the teams do it differently. There are many ways to do a retro. You can just discuss, you can write it down, but the point is for the people, for the members of the team to put out there what concerns them, what makes them happy about the previous sprint that they worked on. We work, let's say, on weekly sprints. It can be bi-weekly, whatever. But it's an open space for people to share what thing worked in a safe environment. So that's what we're gonna do for the first time. You won't see it on every professional environment, on every team, but it's something that if it's done correctly and in a meaningful way, it can help for the team members to collaborate better, and not just do it for the sake of it and just for doing retros, but for them to have meaning. So we won't be doing it every week, every second week probably, so that we have many more things to discuss. So you have the link. I shared the link a couple of hours ago. Let me send it here on the chat again. Yeah, I won't share my screen yet. I will just leave 3-4 minutes for everyone to write down if they haven't done already, and then I will share my screen and discuss the topics that will be mentioned here. So you can write what you're glad about, what you're sad, and what you're mad. Of course, you don't have to write. You don't have to write at all if you don't want to. You don't have to write on every column, because of course there may not be anything sad or mad to be about. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, see you in 3-4 minutes. Also, just a note, I don't think the reflections are anonymous, but well, I didn't put them to be anonymous because I've usually seen that most often that not, people take the initiative to talk about what concerns them, and usually people just leave their name if the notes are anonymous. So, yep.
To get the link for this meeting?
Yeah, I sent it to the TCL 59 and also here in the chat.
Yeah. I see. I received the one with this activity that we are doing now.
Yep.
But I don't know why I can't see the link for the meeting. I had to ask Karen if she could please send me the link, because sorry, I don't know why I can't see it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you're invited on the calendar, right? Can you see the meeting link from your calendar?
Maybe with the calendar, let me see, because Yeah, I think yeah, I didn't receive notification from my calendar, but yes, it's there.
Great.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I also think that you have the option to indicate that you are ready when you're done at the bottom. Uh, are we ready? Okay,
Yes.
we'll continue. I see Mike is not with us. Ah, there he is. Perfect. Okay. So I will share my screen. Um, Eva, we are recording, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Perfect. So, great. I see a lot of glad. Okay. Mud, I think we have nothing. I see we have nothing. Perfect. I started with Mud and Sad because there are so few. Yeah. Yeah, definitely not sad about this that I'm seeing from current. Yeah, it's good to be prepared for the demo, but you realize that once you've worked on it, it will be pretty easy to just be ready. So yeah, no worries about that. Okay.
Sorry, because I haven't managed to type in what I wanted to say. I just wanted to add that under it's not sad, but just if I know it's late in different time zones, but if possible, that people keep their cameras on, just because I think people are more engaged if we can see each other. You can blur your backgrounds or anything, and I understand like if you're on data or something, just a comment if possible would be great. People are using their cameras as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I I mostly agree with that. It's nice to see faces. So yeah, if it's possible, it would be really nice. I don't know if anyone else has something to add to that. Other than that, okay. Usually, what happens is that in the retros, when we see the retrospections that have happened, we usually take the time to, to say a few words about it. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Damn, okay. Okay, never mind. It's okay. I didn't mean for that to happen. I just wanted to reorder them, but it's okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I was just gonna start with myself to kick this off. Yeah, it's the second time for me to participate in a cohort mentoring, and it's very interesting to see how people progress through these 8 weeks. Other than that, I don't really have a lot to say in how we work because I haven't seen anything bad so far. But yeah, kudos to you guys. Good for you that you took the initiative to participate in that. And yeah, I just hope it will be a great experience for you and it will help you in your career. So yeah, is there anyone that wants to take it over from me, or should I just
I can.
ask
One
for
of
someone to talk? I will. Okay, great.
one of my main points was that I'm really pleased about, I think, is from my point of view, it seems like there's a balance, like everybody's doing an equal amount of work at the moment, and as teams, we're dividing up the work fairly, I think. Anyway, I don't know. Feel free to disagree. Yeah, which is nice to see. It doesn't feel like anybody is shouldering too much of the work, which is good.
Great, that's really nice. I also saw that you wrote this about the resources.
Yeah, they're super impressive. Although I was reading Cassandra's point about it does feel a little bit overwhelming jumping into a code base that is so impressive and almost trying to figure out some of the clever stuff it's doing. So I do agree with Cassandra as well. But yeah, it's all the resources are amazing actually.
Yeah, and I agree with Cassandra on the point that it's sometimes overwhelming to jump into an existing code base. And I also believe that it's one of the most important skills that you need to have on your career moving forward, especially when you move into more senior positions, because many times you will have to, jump into an ongoing project that a lot of people will have passed from it, and it's a skill that you need to develop. Of course, that will not happen from one day to another, but by working on it, and there are cases that it's much difficult than others. For example, I remember last year I started a new job and I worked on a product that I think so many developers had passed that it was just crazy, and nobody really had a great idea of the business logic behind the product, and it was a little nightmarish, but you always will have to work to do that.
And I was just gonna add here that for some reason we just emphasize writing code as like main technical skill that you need is writing code, but you'll find oftentimes bigger part of your job is reading code, like other people's code, library code, documentation examples. So I think that was also on purpose because it's quite easy, and like all the online tutorials are like, look, clean project, you've installed all the stuff, you know what, everything. So that's very easy to work with, but it's not real world. Because like Alisa said, you will join a team and they will hand you code and you'll be like, okay, where do I start? And it's, I think, one of the most important skills, especially if you if you want to really develop quickly in your career, is to be the ability to understand kind of the skeleton of a project, or like what from the out, like what is the big picture? What does this do? So like definitely I would put as much as you effort as you are putting into writing code, at least that, but even more into reading code.
And another thing that I totally agree with that. And also another thing that gets lost many times is the business logic behind a code base, because you have the code and what you wanted to do, but it's important sometimes to, especially if the project is complex, and if it has a complex business logic, to documentate what you do. There are many ways to do that, but like the documents that are written from the product team or whatever, but many times you have to understand the business logic to understand what is happening. So yeah, that's something that you will have to do many times in your career. So yeah, that's from my input. Yeah, of course, Git is something that it's also really important. And once you get to know it and feel comfortable with it, it's I promise you it will be really easy. Okay. Let's see. Sandra, would you like to add something? It's also pretty self-explanatory, of course.
Oh, yes. As my teammates have said before about the resources, everything has been amazing so far, and the support from the mentors. The information provided to us, especially about GitHub from the beginning, was really helpful. And I am also very happy that meeting my teammates so far. I've been working with Mike and Karen, and it has been amazing. The communication has been really easy, and I'm just looking forward to working with Cassandra. And yes, I'm very grateful with this opportunity. I have learned a lot so far.
Great.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. Cassandra, would you like to add something? Because we took it over from your comment here and we started talking. Is there anything that you would like to add? Okay, if not, maybe Cassandra has some connectivity issues, but oh, come on. I never get the hang of it.
Yeah.
It's
You are here is like it's challenging, Aristos. You're doing it.
UX here is a little terrible. Anyways, for me, collaboration is the best way to learn. I love the opportunity to collaborate in the program. It has also given me the opportunity to teach the little I know, which has helped me solidify the knowledge. And teaching also helped me remember the things I have learned long ago. Perfect. Yeah, Michael, would you like to, Mike, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so basically that's what the program has been for me. It's so I like, okay, I like I mentioned at the beginning of the program, I had this kind of an experience. I've had a program like this before, although we built something way more technical, but I was on that team. I was more like the most junior person in terms of experience level, and it was very beneficial for me in terms of learning from those guys, and so I just realized that there were a lot of things I wasn't doing well or I could improve on because I worked with those guys or because I collaborated with those guys. So it just really taught me, or
exposed me to how much you can gain from, other people, because I realized that a lot of people think differently, and ideas are the way you feel like you can handle an issue is different from the way the next person is thinking about it, and then their own solution may come off as really good. So it just exposed me to different thinking, and I feel like it's the best way to learn. And so being here, it's been good having that experience again. And also about the code base, coming into the code base and seeing it's pre-populated. I think the first thing I did was just trying to really run in the live app, the completed app, and trying to understand the whole thing, like how everything was working, and then trying to relate each component into each functionality I could see on the final page. So I think the way I handled it was just like just going over it. Though it may have been a little bit, I wouldn't say intimidating, but yeah, there was that first shock that, okay, how will I go about this? And then, so I did it that way, saw the final project just to understand how the whole app works, and then I was able to go over each of the components, and then I started piecing pieces together, and I think that's how I was able to make sense of the whole the skeleton of the project. So I just wanted to add that.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, and also only thing that I will add to that is that when you explain something to other people, you really understand it. So yeah. In total, good job, guys, for these first 2 weeks. And if no one else has something to add, we can continue. That was our retro. We are a little bit out of time, so let's go quickly to the next week's issue, to this week's issue, since it's Monday.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that. Where are we now? I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. So we have 2 issues and we have 2 teams. So I'm gonna create.
Sorry, Eva, just one thing to add regarding our retro, because we finished it too quickly. Usually when the retro finishes, and if there are points that need to be improved or need to be discussed for the next to be addressed in the coming days, usually people discuss some action points, but of course we didn't have anything to add to that, so that's why we finished the meeting quickly. Yeah, sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we are running a little bit out of time, so I'm just gonna be quick. So issue number 5, and I think we have so Cassandra and Sandra. I'll just assign you. So sorry for not giving you a choice. Just because I think you are the only pair that hasn't worked together. So we'll have then Mike and Karen on the other one. So issue number 5, as a user, I want to join an existing shopping list so I can share a shopping list with another person. So this would take the following steps. User enters an existing token into a form. This token is saved to local storage. And then the user is taken to the list view and shown the existing list. So instead of you creating the list from scratch, you're gonna pull someone else's list. And then we have acceptance criteria. I'm just gonna quickly run you through it. I am aware we're a little bit late, so if you have any questions about what exactly this means, feel free to ping me tomorrow, and I can give you a bit more details. But in essence, if a user doesn't already have a token, the home view shows a form that allows the user to enter a token to join an existing list, in addition to the button that allows them. So you can either create or join a list. the input that accepts the list token has, so like we said, we want to have a label associated. We want to do this with either click interaction or by pressing the enter key. If the list exists, then this token is saved in local storage, and then the user is redirected to that list. So a little bit similar to the previous week's task. And if the list does not exist, the user is shown an error message that explains like this list does not exist. And if a user does already have a token, they are automatically redirected to the list view. So meaning that if you already have something in local storage, you're just going to be shown your list. Cool. I'm gonna leave the notes for you to read on. But Cassandra and Sandra, do you have any like already questions, anything that doesn't make sense, or are you happy to just go and like start on this tomorrow? And like, yeah, does that make sense, sort of what you need to do?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, we'll have to go through it first and then know whether we'll reach out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool. So then we have issue number 6, and so that will be not me. That's not what I want to do. I will not do that. You will do that. So we have Mikey and we have Karen. Okay. So did I do that right? Yes, I did. We have now, as a user, I want to filter my shopping list to make it easier to locate an item in the list. So this will allow users to search through their list, will help them cut down on clutter and focus on items they're looking for. So a form is added to the top of the list view above the shopping list. The form includes the following elements: a text field with a label. And when there's text in the field, some kind of button to clear the field. When the field is cleared, the list is reset to its unfiltered state. So this is kind of going to be like, as you type, the list is filtered. So if you have apples and oranges and you start with AP, the oranges will disappear and just apple will be there. Yeah, so this is going to be filtering, which is a very, very common thing to do when you like, as a front-end user, receive some data from the backend, then you have to sort of wrestle it into the right shape. And the filtering is very common. Mike and Karen, do we have any questions about this?
No. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the task.
Okay, cool. Then I think, yeah, we just about on time.
Yeah, so
yes.
For next week, I have both office hours and code review. So when, in terms of the code reviews, when you are ready and the reviews are done from your fellow Collabs, just ping me to take a look, and I will send you in the channel about the office hours.
Thank you. But yeah, so Peter is away this week, so it's going to be Aristos and I like doing all the stuff. So feel free to ping us, like as you can do the mentors thing or directly. That I'm wishing you good week ahead. It's going to be a little bit, I think the difficulty is increasing a little bit as we go along, but to be expected, right? But yeah, give it a good go. Collaborate, pair program, research, read the docs. There's also some like clues in the notes. And if you're stuck, you know where to find us.
That's perfect.
Thank you, everyone.
Great week.
Thank you.
Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.